The hidden reason behind a record-breaking crypto price pump that happened just last week, and where we can likely see the Bitcoin and altcoin prices headed over the next few days and weeks ahead. In this video, we're going to break down exactly what was going on behind the scenes in crypto last week that caused that major rally towards the upside, and then use that information to identify whether or not we're going to see a pullback in the near future, or whether we could be blasting right through and heading to much higher levels. Do me a favor, hit the like button and let's get into it before it's too late. Now guys, before we delve into the hidden clues that explain what the catalyst for last week's major move was and whether or not we can trust this big rally that we're having right now, just a quick disclaimer. Nothing I say in this video is financial advice. Everything I say is for entertainment purposes only. If you wish to invest in crypto, you should understand that it's risky and you can lose money. So don't risk money that you can't afford to lose, and always do your own research before investing in anything. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's crack on with it. Now guys, what an insane last 7 days we've had across the crypto market. Jumping across to crypto bubbles, you can see that some coins have been gaining 30%, 50%, 60%. Some have even gained nearly 95% in just the last 7 days. And if you jump out to the monthly, you can see coins like Pump Fund are up 178%. If you were to zoom out even further, Pump Fund is up 370% in just the last couple of months. And if you've been subscribed to the House of Crypto, chances are you were getting into coins like Pump Fund nearly 2 or 3 months ago and making the most of some of these opportunities. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future opportunities like this one. Now, a lot of the more recent upside moves happening across the altcoin market have been driven by Bitcoin. From last Monday, it went from $62,400 to right now being worth $79,600, which is somewhere just over 27% gained in one single week, which is the biggest price pump that Bitcoin has seen in a single week in more than 8 years. So not only is the size of the recent rally very exciting for Bitcoin, but it's the fact that it comes at the end of this bottoming range that started all the way back on the 5th of February and ended last Monday after 193 days. Let me repeat that for a moment. For 193 days, Bitcoin basically tested the bottom. It tried to break through further, but it never really did. It rebounded, and since then, it's ground sideways, eventually then putting in this significant stab back towards the upside. A real shift in momentum from a huge kind of bearish energy that we've been feeling for the last 10 months or so to real return of excitement again. But this move happened so quickly that it's left a lot of people with a lot of questions. Like, does this confirm that the bottom is in for crypto? What is the probability that we could see a big pullback from here? Could we see a pullback that goes even lower from where we've been? Or simply, what has been causing this? Why are we suddenly seeing this major shift happen right now? Well, hopefully by the end of this video, you can understand a little bit more about what's been driving this move, whether we can trust it, and use that to make some decisions about whether you want to be loading up more, taking some profits off the table, etc. Now, obviously, we can start with the charts. The charts do give us some information about where we could see some pullbacks and where a breakthrough would take us if that was to happen. But if you've ever read any technical analysis books on trading, you will identify that most chart patterns, etc., have around a 60 to 65% chance of playing out, which is why on this channel, we don't just look at charts alone because they're really not that reliable when there's so much decent information available on chain. If you look at the macro, the sentiment, etc., we take all these pieces, put it together, and it gives us a bit of a clearer understanding about where we could be moving next. Now, from a chart perspective alone, you can see that we are running into an area of resistance, which started all the way back here, buy zone area. You can see on this sell-off, you get a push back up into this area, it then sells off aggressively. That was all the way back in February. You can see that once we arrive back in here, again, see some resistance, but it does push up. Now, again, you see aggressive selling off happening from this area. The first time was there, and then selling into this area again. So clearly was going to be a resistance zone. As I speak though, it does look like we are trying to break through it. So perhaps by the time this video is live, this could have already made its way up towards $80,000 or beyond. But this is way more than just looking at this chart. And from a chart analysis perspective, you can see that the next kind of zone to be pushing into is around $82,300. So yes, support and resistance can be useful and give us some ideas of where we should be looking into, but there are some very obvious triggers that we can use to identify when we should be taking profits, whether we should be entering in more, etc. along the way. And a lot of that comes from on-chain analysis. So the first thing to consider is this: what caused that pump last week? And you'll be like, that news story from Scott Besson about the US starting to buy their debt up. And yes, that was seemingly the catalyst that pushed everything along its way. But actually that news story on its own isn't really big enough to have a result like this. You see, that news story was just the start of it. Because what happens when the price ranges sideways like it did from the 2nd of June is basically all the bears start to put in these short trades, right? Where they're desperate for the price to go down to 60K on the 6th of October, or whatever it was that everyone was saying up until last Monday. And you can see that they have all their stop losses basically up in and around this area. So what happens is if you have a news story or whatever else and it suddenly pushes price outside of this zone, it causes liquidations. As soon as this stop loss gets hit on a short trade, okay, that short trade gets turned into a buy trade. And this happened with $5 billion worth of liquidity. That is one of the biggest liquidation events in crypto history. The 10th of October was bigger because that one was $19 billion, but this one down here was the biggest ever short liquidation, which if you consider how many more people were in crypto up here compared to how many were in down here, it tells you something very interesting. But if this move was just driven by short liquidations and nothing else, it would really be a bit of a red flag. We should be a little bit cautious about that because it tells us that there was no appetite coming in from spot buyers. You see, it's the spot buyers who are really supporting the price at any given point. If the price is falling, it's because spot buyers refuse to step in. And if the price rallies and can sustain itself, it's because spot buyers have decided to step in. So this is where we come across to this chart, which comes from Check on Chain. Bitcoin has spot cumulative volume delta. It shows you the level of buying that went into the market just the last week compared to the amount of selling. Now this is huge because this major green spike is the second biggest green spike we've seen since after Donald Trump won the US election back in 2024. This tells you that not only did we see the volume, not only did we see lots of liquidations forcing price up, but at the same time we saw spot buyers rushing in to buy up the market. Not only this, but we also saw over $1 billion of buy pressure coming from the ETFs over just the last week, showing that you're getting retail as well as some institutional interest in the move that we've seen more recently. And again, from Check on Chain, we can see that we've moved in terms of the momentum from realized losses into realized profits for the first time in a very long time. The last time we went really from a sustained period of time in this red zone into the green zone, where we had a lengthy one like this, was all the way back on the 1st of January 2023. And if you were around back then, that was pretty much when the major recovery post FTX began to play out. And that as well goes in line with a percentage supply in profit. All of a sudden, because so much spot buying has been going on through the lows over the last few months, we've seen suddenly prices spike back. So not everybody is now sat in a loss. You can see it's bounced back towards 70. When you see a big pump back up, look at the last time this happened. Again, 5th of January 2023 was the last time we went from this oversold, this much pain and worry, all the way back up here. So, is the bottom in? Can we trust the bottom being in down here before we identify whether or not we're going to see a pullback here or push right through? So let's just piece these things together. First of all, we've got the chart. We've got a major momentum shift after an elongated downtrend that we've seen that basically you could see started to taper off. The momentum to the downside slowed down over time. That's why you start to see this shift going sideways. Then you can see sudden trend reversal, shocking the market into a new paradigm, a new way of thinking about where we're headed. What about the news? What about the macroeconomics that have kicked this move off? Well, guys, actually, this is a very interesting point to make. Maybe I'll make a video on this next week, because what's caused this move isn't the same as what caused the major bull market all the way back in 2020. And here's why. Back in 2020, that major bull market was caused by COVID, or the United States and the world's response to COVID. COVID caused lots of economic issues, and it caused issues for normal people. So the US government printed tons of money. They gave people stimulus checks. Not only that, but they dropped interest rates to almost zero so everyone could get cheap loans, cheap money, etc. There was so much money floating around in the economy that everything basically went up because that money had to go somewhere. So crypto went up, stocks went up, watches went up, property went up, artwork, whatever it was, everything surged towards the upside because of the availability of liquidity that was flooded in the market. This time's slightly different though, because this time you've got the US Treasury Secretary basically saying that they're going to buy the US's debt. Why have they decided to do that? Well, because the United States have got a bit of an issue. They're borrowing money right now to pay off old debt, and 78% of the money they're borrowing is going into paying the interest rates on that debt. It's a bit of an issue. And now, because of that, the yields have gone towards the upside, which means that other countries out there don't really want to bail out the US anymore, because they're starting to believe that maybe the US isn't the safe haven that it once was, which is why you've got the Fed reacting in this way. And because other countries' central banks have started to lose faith in the US's bank, it means that after all this time, people have actually started to lose faith in fiat currency, which is why they've started to go towards things like gold and, of course, Bitcoin. Okay, so this is the whole thesis playing out that everyone has been talking about for a very, very long time for Bitcoin, before it went up because of liquidity. And yes, liquidity helps. Liquidity has been surging towards the upside for years as more and more money gets printed. But now the very mechanism behind all of that is starting to look a little bit sketchy. So they're going towards the safe havens of assets that can't be printed, i.e. Bitcoin. So from a macro standpoint, yes, there is more things that can drive the crypto market. And whether or not the Federal Reserve cuts rates next month or not doesn't seem to matter anymore, because Bitcoin is moving under a different mechanism. So are we likely to roll over and be able to push under recent lows from here? Well, let's just think about that for a moment. I just want to go back and just think very logically about it. I've been saying this over the past few months, but I know up until more recently, there was so much fear and panic going around the market that it was kind of difficult to see how it would ever get better. But remember, we saw some very key things happening during this time. Michael Saylor selling over 3,000 Bitcoin during this period of time. We saw the Iran war spiraling out of control. We saw the oil prices surging to $120. You've seen a hawkish Fed saying that they're going to come in and hike rates potentially. We've seen stories about AI in the future being able to hack. We've seen a crypto wallet hack that cost Bitcoin holders over $130 million. We've seen exchanges go under. We have seen all the bad stuff that happens during bear markets all play out, and yet Bitcoin just went sideways. And that's because no one wanted to sell anymore. All the people who wanted to sell sold during this period of time here, which meant that there was no one left to sell. Okay, no one left to sell means that there is only then people left to buy. And once those people absorb any sell pressure that's around, eventually you're going to get a catalyst that's going to push the market out. So no, I personally am very certain now, after being pretty damn certain throughout this period of time here, that we're not going lower than we've already been. So how much higher can we rally, and what should we be cautious of? Now guys, I'm going to be very cautious in what I say here, because Bitcoin can get on the move very, very quickly, and sometimes it can go for a very long time, either up or down, without having to take much of a break. Like this period of time here, where it rallies significantly from about $37,000, and it did a 2x this time here back in the end of 2024. Okay, there was plenty of times in Bitcoin's history where it goes for significant runs without much of a pause. So what you need to be thinking about in terms of where you might see a pause are a few different things. First of all, obviously we can use the idea of there being resistance zones, because these do kind of trigger people to kind of take some profits along the way. And you can identify where these resistance zones sit by basically where Bitcoin has kind of stalled in the past. Okay, basically in the past, as the price fell, you can see it bounces into these zones. There's a very good chance that you're going to see price getting stuck in and around these zones. But whether or not you're going to see a major sell-off into those zones, or whether it's just going to be like going sideways like we're seeing right now with the potential to carry on and break through, is down to something else that you at home can keep your eye on. And the first thing is simply this: the fear and greed index is so key to where the crypto market is moving. And right now you can see that it has run into greed. This is a red flag, and allow me to explain the mechanism, because I've been in the crypto market for about 7 years, and the best indicator you can ever see across crypto, it has nothing to do with the charts. It all has to do with the sentiment. Okay, when the market's greedy, it means that many people have already bought. When many people have already bought, it typically means there's not that many people left to come in. Now, I'm still all right with this, because I still know that the biggest bearish YouTube channels right now are still getting tons and tons of views, and these people are watching that channel hoping and praying that the market's going to go down lower, and they want it to go down lower because they're still sidelined. Okay, because so many people are still sidelined, I'm all right with that right now. And not only look at this, but also go and read comments. So go and think about the bears on YouTube, Twitter, wherever they're writing. If they're like still bearish and whatever, and everyone's down below like, you're a hero, you're going to be right, whatever else, then be cautious. Okay, if for example on the flip side, you've got someone like me over the past few months who's saying things like that Bitcoin basically bottomed in February and then just like retested that back in June, etc., throughout the period of time where we didn't go any lower, and then just had the whole comment section basically saying I was an idiot, that's a very good indicator that everyone's positioned in a bearish fashion. See, I don't believe that people think someone's stupid or not. I believe that someone thinks someone's stupid if they disagree with that person. But if they suddenly decide that they're going to agree with that person, they suddenly think that that person's the smartest person on earth. So the interaction with the influencer or the voice or whatever it is very key for telling you where the majority of people are looking. If everybody's still bearish right now, the price can go much higher because there's much more buying opportunity, many more people who can come in and start to put money into the market. Remember, everybody's still waiting for the October the 6th low that in my mind is probably never ever going to come. But another major thing that you need to be very cautious of, because as price starts to rally, people start to put in leverage very quickly, right? Bitcoin went up for like 5-6 straight days. After 5 or 6 straight days, people have made some decent money, then start to like 10x, 20x, whatever, and suddenly they're trying to make as much money as possible all of a sudden, and this can make the price unstable when you've got the leverage trades pushing the price up rather than the spot trade. What you really need to see is basically the spot trade and the leverage trades working together. Okay, leverage obviously is important, but the spot trade itself identifies the real floor for Bitcoin and altcoins. So keep your eye on the funding rate heat map. As you can see, still relatively green, but it is starting to warm up from where it was before. This shows you when lots of people are starting to use leverage once more, and it has the potential to make price volatile. So in general, where do I expect to see price go? Well, I do think that there is potential that we can continue and rally straight through this zone. I do think if that is the case and we do manage to break through here, then the likely sticking point would be just under 90. And by the way, the further we go without any substantial pullback, eventually, whenever we do find a sticking point, the chances are that we could find ourselves playing out a lot longer, kind of going sideways. It's not a bad thing to have a couple of little pullbacks along the way. And if you get a pullback, that's where you consider DCAing in. Obviously, if you've done your research and you're excited about that. If we were to pull back, I do think that there would be a reason to sort of say that somewhere kind of $72,000 to $74,000 would be a zone that I would be looking at for where Bitcoin may see a bounce and a bit of a calm down period before then seeing some continuation higher. And if you weren't buying at all down here and you've suddenly decided that you're going to buy whatever it is, then you must understand this. If you're buying after a big push like this, there is obviously a risk of price pulling back against you. So personally, here's where I'm at. I basically bought in aggressively throughout this whole period of time, and now I don't intend to add any more money really to the crypto market. I will move money between Bitcoin and different altcoins, etc. And if there was kind of going to be a bigger pullback, then yes, I would be adding to certain altcoins. But if you're late entering, then don't worry, you're still fairly early. The only thing you've got to consider is this. If you decide that you want to enter into the crypto market after a big rally like this, there is a potential that you do get some pullback. So ultimately, try and avoid any altcoins that have seen major rallies already, like Pump Fund. I've been talking about this one for months. It's seen a major rally. It's a great project. It's going to do very, very well, but be cautious, okay? Don't get into projects like that. It's already up 350%. It's going to be difficult for you to make lots of money because it's going to pull back at other points as other people take profits. In my last couple of videos I've made, make sure you go and check them out. You can find out more about how to identify the altcoins like Pump Fund, so you can get into other ones that are still fairly early on, somewhere down towards the lows. Something else worth looking at right now is the Bitcoin dominance, which basically is beginning to climb again. That's typical of what you see in the early cycles. Bitcoin is a big market cap coin. It draws a lot of that capital into itself, but obviously we are still very high. We're waiting for ISM numbers to come in over the next week or two. If they come in higher than expected, somewhere towards the 58 level, then we could start to see the best conditions for a altcoin run since we've seen since back in late 2020. So ultimately, we could see a bit of a climb into the zone for the Bitcoin dominance and eventually a sell-off that starts to take place into the later part of this year, at which point many altcoins are going to catch a lot more people off guard because we are in a very different cycle to how we were sat at the end of 2022. This far more closely resembles, in terms of the setup, early 2020 after that kind of COVID crash where we started to see the market rip back towards the upside, and then we got that DeFi summer situation playing out. So for now, remain cautious as Bitcoin heads towards this resistance zone. Likely scenarios are that we could potentially hit into this, pull back, see some sort of calm down period before eventually moving up towards the upside, but there is always the chance that we can go straight through. Ultimately, I do believe that we're now on the path towards the upside, but as you can see, big moves don't go in straight lines. Now guys, if you're an experienced trader and you want to pick up on some of these moves that have been happening over the last few weeks, then make sure you go down below and sign up for Yubit, because right now they have a 10% deposit bonus event. So if you're signing up wherever you are in the world, then you're going to be able to access 10% deposit. Then you can use it on spot trading as well as futures trading. It doesn't require you to do any trading or anything like that, so you can basically go over there and get yourself a decent bonus. And there's also lots of other competitions and different bonuses that are available to Yubit users who signed up especially through the House of Crypto, because I've been working with this company longer than pretty much anyone else out there. I've got a team of people working with me at the House of Crypto dedicated to go and finding some of the best partnerships with the different exchanges. So make sure you go and check out the link down below for Yubit, as well as other offers and things that we have available for you. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video, found it useful. If you have stuck with this crypto market over the last 8 or 9 months and you have managed to hold on, good for you. It's not an easy thing to do, but ultimately it's going to leave you a much better investor in the world of crypto over the next few months or so ahead. Do me a favor, if you got this far through, hit the like button, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you very soon in another video. Bye bye.